ただいまより上川大臣の定例記者会見。
We would like to now start the press conference by the minister.
私から2件。
There are two initial remarks. First, on the UN resolution regarding Israel and Palestine. On the 16th, the UN resolution was passed by support from 12 countries, including Japan, focusing on protection of children in Gaza, with requests for humanitarian pauses, immediate and unconditional release of hostages by Hamas, and for all parties to observe international law, amongst others. This resolution was proposed by Marta, the chair of SC's Working Group on Children in Armed Conflict. After 4 resolution proposals had been voted down due to confrontations among SC members, it was put forth in view of Gaza's current situation and to prevent the humanitarian conditions, including those for children, from further deteriorating. As a member of SC, Japan engaged in a variety of diplomatic efforts and voted for the proposal. We welcome the proposal's passage. We will continue to urge all parties to take action faithfully in accordance with the proposal or the resolution and communicate with relevant countries and international institutions and to tenaciously and proactively endeavor with our diplomatic efforts to improve the humanitarian situation and bring calm to the overall situation. Next, may I present on the signing of the OSA exchange of notes with Bangladesh. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs established OSA, Official Security Assistance, in April 23. And OSA is its new support framework to ensure peace and stability in the region and create a desirable security environment by providing equipment and materials to like-minded countries and improving their security capabilities and deterrence. Following the decision on November 3rd, with the Philippines with a project on OSA. On November 15th, we have signed an exchange of notes on a second project to provide security vessels to the Bangladesh Navy. Bangladesh is a strategic partner of Japan, where the Bay of Bengal is adjacent to an important sea lane for Japan. The support is expected to enhance the Bangladesh Navy's patrolling and surveillance capabilities as well as disaster response capabilities and contribute to the maintenance and strengthening of maritime securities, not just in the Bay of Bengal, but also in the Indo-Pacific region. As for the remaining candidates, Malaysia and Fiji, we will continue to work to make a decision by the end of this year. That is all for myself. May I entertain a question? If you have any questions, please raise your hand. If you're designated, please kindly approach to the microphone. Please state your name and affiliation and raise question. Kamikawa-san of Yomiuri newspaper. Yomiuri newspaper. In the summit between Japan and China, the strategically mutual relationship is now being agreed upon. What is the definition of the part of MOFA? And on top of that, what are the coordination efforts in the foreign ministerial meeting between Japan and China, and what type of agenda you are going to set? First of all, to address your first question, strategically mutually beneficial relationship between the two countries is about for both Japan and China to be responsible to mutually cooperate with each other to ensure peace and stability in the international community and in Asia, and to contribute to the region as well as to the world, and to benefit, expand common interests, and by so doing, to elevate the bilateral relationship to a higher level. That is the thinking behind. In May 2018, in the Japan-China joint declaration, we have made an agreement that we're going to comprehensively promote this thinking. Following the 50th anniversary of diplomatic relationships this year, we are marking the 45th anniversary of Japan-China peace declaration. So we will look back on our relationship as we look toward the future. We will reaffirm the principles in the documents we have signed, and we will once again promote our comprehensive cooperation. And I think it was meaningful that we were able to affirm all those aspects. So, secondly, you asked about the status of coordination of Japan-China Foreign Ministerial meeting. So, inclusive of Japan-China Foreign Ministerial, my meeting with Foreign Minister Wang Yi, nothing has yet been determined, but we would like to communicate closely with the Chinese side going forward, inclusive of that potential. And what are the challenges between the two countries going forward? Well, there is much potential between the two countries, and there are many challenges and concerns that lie between the two countries, but Japan will assert what it needs to be asserted, and we will strongly urge China to take responsible actions. We will have a steady dialogue with China on issues including concerns, and we will cooperate on common issues, and through mutual efforts, look to build a constructive and stable relationship. I think that's going to be important. Igarashi-san of NHK, please go ahead. Igarashi speaking from NHK. So I have a question regarding Japan, China, Korea. Bilateral meetings were held among the three meetings, but toward the end of this month, Japan-China ROK Foreign Ministerial is planned. What is the significance of this meeting? What is your view?
では、
Now, from our point of view, in regard to the diverse range of issues, these three neighborhood countries will be able to have a high-level discussions at the Japan-China-South Korea process, which is considered to be very important venue. And the other day, in regard to this foreign ministerial meeting among Japan and South Korea, I have communicated to the South Korean PAC Foreign Secretariat that we would like to strongly support the efforts of the South Korea being a chairperson country and closely coordinate that I have confirmed. And in regard to the schedule and agenda which is under consideration, and based upon the foundation which we build among the three countries through discussions and cooperation, we'd like to discuss more concrete ideas in regard to what are the cooperation we can pursue and what are the response to the global issues and what are the solution for the regional situation. At any rate, if a foreign ministerial meeting to be held, and of course in all these strategic significance of a cooperation among Japan, China, and South Korea, I'd like to be very active in contributing to that. Higuchi-san of Chugoku newspaper. Higuchi of Chugoku newspaper. Now, in regard to TP and Double, I'd like to ask a question. In 10 days from now, there are going to be the second round of a conference of a parties meeting, and there are the atomic bomb victims asking the government to participate at least as an observer. And foreign minister officials are now showing a very hesitant stance. And what do you think of participation as an observer? Do you have such intention?
A treaty on prohibition of nuclear weapons is an important treaty that could provide the exit for the world to become one without nuclear weapons. But there's no nuclear power that is part of this treaty. Therefore, the pathway toward the exit is not yet identified. So under these circumstances, Japan, as the only victim of atomic bombing, must make efforts to engage nuclear powers in this dialogue. the G7 summit Hiroshima vision regarding nuclear disarmament, which was announced in G7 Hiroshima summit in May. This will be the strong stepping stone for our efforts going forward. And Prime Minister Kishida, in NPT review meeting in August, announced Hiroshima Action Plan. By implementing these initiatives, we would like to continue and strengthen our efforts realistically and practically. Thank you. I have another question. So, Germany, which is in a similar situation as Japan, there are those countries who participated as observers, although being under the U.S. nuclear umbrella. And if you say that it's important for Japan to serve as a bridge, given the example of Germany, what do you think Japan should be doing?
Well, in regard to how each other countries are responding, I would rather not to make any comments in the position of Japan. And yet, the participation as an observer to this Conference of Party meeting that is already expressed, as I mentioned earlier. Now, we'd like to continue to use the G7 Summit Hiroshima Vision as a strong step table, and we'd like to implement actions one by one under Hiroshima Action Plan, and we'd like to continue and enhance the realistic and practical countermeasures. Next question, if there's any. Toruk Anadolu Telecommunication, Rudolph-san. This is Fulkan, and WHO looking at the Gaza of WHO of Gaza, saying that all of the medical functions in Gaza area is already been suspended, and United Nations says that Israel is not in the position to assert the rights in the Gaza area because Palestine is now controlling Gaza. So therefore, 6 weeks long of attack on Gaza, and nearly 12,000 people were killed in the armed conflict. And Canada and other Western countries are now requesting Israel to stop the attack on Gaza. And Japan, are you going to assert and argue that it should stop the attack on Gaza?
In Gaza and in the surrounding areas, many casualties and deaths have occurred. So we are seriously concerned about the deterioration of humanitarian situation there. And many hostages must be immediately released. And all the parties must observe international law, including international humanitarian law. In the actual military activities, casualties among civilians must be avoided, and we need to take all sorts of measures, including humanitarian pauses vis-à-vis Israel. We have emphasized the importance of protecting civilians and response in line with international law, including international humanitarian law. So we will continue to urge all parties to observe international law, including international humanitarian law, communicate closely with the relevant countries, international institutions, and tenaciously, proactively engage in diplomatic efforts to improve the humanitarian situation and bring calm to the situation. That concludes the press conference. Thank you.